Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Murder, Liberation, and Art exhibit for the Dissertation Defense of Fantasi Nicole. Here, you will have the opportunity to pre-engage with the art artifacts that were part of my data collection for this research, as well as the mixtape of 6 raps that were part of the data analysis and presentation for paper 3. There are 6 art pieces created by my 6 homegirls, or participants as some may say, representing spirit murdering. Each art piece also serves as the rap cover art for the corresponding rap that best align with the homegirl sentiments for spirit renewal. The raps themselves both express themes analyzed from the data as well as recommendations for spirit renewal for faculty and institutional stakeholders. It is important to note that using raps allowed for living forms of research that can be engaged with in multiple ways for meaning-making processes. Some of this material may be heavier for those who have experienced it. However, the goal here is change by eliminating inequities. Remember, oftentimes you have to become uncomfortable to be able to grow and transform for the better. Now listen with an open mind, a genuine heart, and a desire for change. Trust and believe me when I say I'm her. All of my accolades, both personal and professional, concur. And all I ask is that y'all put some respect on my name and stand for that equity and inclusion that y'all claim. Put some respect on my name. I'm her. Top recruit of my class number 1. I'm her. Been a grown-ass woman getting the bag. I'm her. You try to play me like a simp and that's sad. I'm her. Remember who do your publications and run all your meetings up like conducting your research while you at home and you're sleeping and you won't let me advance because you know that I'm seasoned. But I'm going to tell you one thing now. I'm number 1 for a reason. I'm an expert in many ways. Got knowledge for days. My dual epistemologies read through all of your plays. I can't deny how I feel. I can't deny what is real. I had engineering experience for this entire ordeal. I do your research in minds. Professionalism combined, connections out the wazoo, and my wisdom edges like wine. But you can't get through your head the vein that comes from my leg, the way I handle my business, so you gaslight me instead. Worked on your grants for some years, mentored most of my peers, advanced your tenure and careers, and interest in my progress disappears. Understand where I'm coming from and know that my victory's already been won. And if you're mad that your darkness didn't succumb, just know that my reign of terror has just begun. Put some respect on my name. I'm her. Top recruit of my class number 1. I'm her. Been a grown-ass woman getting the bag. I'm her. You try to play me like a simp and that's sad. I'm her. Remember who do your publications and run all your meetings up like conducting your research while you at home and you're sleeping and you won't let me advance because you know that I'm seasoned. But I'm going to tell you one thing now. I'm number 1 for a reason. Please see through the haze. The system acts as a maze for black women to navigate. It causes such a malaise. But you can be better now. It thrives on what you allow. So see your students as partners and don't act holier than thou. Adopt a business like mine. Apprenticeship, not a sign. Respect your folks as professionals and as they have defined. Be upfront and direct. Treat them with utmost respect. And see how much a lab advises when you correct. What you know and what you feel. Always reflect and keep it real. Forever hold up your end of the deal. And allow your folks time to heal. Take time out to affirm. Appreciate my growth through the term. Have our back and stand 10 toes firm. And watch how much the results will confirm. Put some respect on my name. I'm her. Top recruit of my class number 1. I'm her. Been a grown-ass woman getting the bag. I'm her. You try to play me like a simp and that's sad. I'm her. Remember who do your publications and run all your meetings up like conducting your research while you at home and you're sleeping and you won't let me advance because you know that I'm seasoned. But I'm going to tell you one thing now. I'm number 1 for a reason.
If a nigga to be, you know I'ma kill it.
Y'all like, I ain't just a black woman. I mean, it's so much more to me than what y'all see. Like, it's crazy. A prized possession, something that can hold at the door. The diversity martyr that can put out for show. The angry black woman that they can't take no more. That real ghetto chick that they surveillance for show. I'm getting sick and tired of the bias. The disciplinary ways y'all conspire. With y'all, it's like I'm constantly putting out fires. And y'all keep wearing masks like Michael Myers. I ain't just a black woman, you dig? Stop playing with me and play with your own damn kids. I'm so sick and tired of y'all stepping out of line. Didn't want no cry white women tears when I stand for me and mine. I ain't just a black woman, you dig? Stop playing with me and play with your own damn kids. I'm so sick and tired of y'all stepping out of line. Didn't want to cry white women tears when I stand for me and mine. And when I try to speak, it's like the circus in town. Y'all make me jump through hoops and spin this merry-go-round to share my freaking truth, and then it really goes down. Cause all you seem to do is try to ground it in brown. I wear my crown probably, but I ain't just my skin. My SSS status is not just where I've been. My sexuality and gender should not count as a win. And don't play me no tune on that goddamn violin. I ain't just a black woman, you dig? Stop playing with me and play with your own damn kids. I'm so sick and tired of y'all stepping out of line. Didn't want to cry white women tears when I stand for me and mine. I ain't just a black woman, you dig? Stop playing with me and play with your own damn kids. I'm so sick and tired of y'all stepping out of line. Didn't want to cry white women tears when I stand for me and mine. I mean, like, my positionality is not up for conversation for real. Like, it is what it is. But if you want to have that conversation, then that's a different invoice. And y'all not necessarily paying me to do that. The caucasity, bitch, please. You walking around like what I say is make believe. You know why this is just in here like a disease and multiplies my murder to the first degree. Do yourself a favor and be critical. We all know PhDs are straight political. Check your actions, just be analytical. And don't expose yourself as hypocritical. I feel my claws based on the trigger. Instead of checking yourself, you gave me the middle finger and tried to uphold a flawed system based on rigor and tried to play me like an unlearned nigga. It's showing lack of competence in this space where even if I'm not the problem, you make it the case. You really sit here and insult me in my face when really it's your practices that need to be replaced. Remedial writing is what you said. That feedback just keeps playing inside my head. A part of my spirit lying cold and dead. Because you came from me and not the flaw instead. So give me solid feedback when the time is due. Don't have your feelings hurt. This is just a cue to do what I know you scholars can do. And put our program practices under review. The caucasity. Bitch, please. You walking around like what I say is make believe. You know why this is just in here like a disease and multiplies my murder to the first degree. Do yourself a favor and be critical. We all know PhDs are straight political. Check your actions, just be analytical. And don't expose yourself as hypocritical. I know you care, and that's not to debate. Sometimes when I was heavy, you lifted the weight. But part of the heaviness is my progress rate. So I need to make sure my intellect is straight. This can support my intellectual growth. At like you K through 12 and took the teachers, critique and support me, yeah, I need both. While I endure the harshness of this PhD trope. Remedial writing is what you said. That feedback just keeps playing inside my head. A part of my spirit lying cold and dead. Because you came for me and not the flaw instead. So give me solid feedback when the time is due. Don't have your feelings hurt. This is just a cue to do what I know you scholars can do. And put our program practices under review. The caucasity. Bitch, please. You walking around like what I say is make believe. You know why this is just in here like a disease and multiplies my murder to the first degree. Do yourself a favor and be critical. We all know PhDs are straight political. Check your actions, just be analytical. And don't expose yourself as hypocritical. Ooh, child, girl, I tell you the truth. Like, this engineering doctoral program is a straight ghetto. Like, ooh, child, the ghetto. The lip service in here, falsetto. Expectations for change, it's narrow. I just want to be done, yeah, finito. Like, ooh, child, the ghetto. The lip service in here, it's falsetto. Expectations for change, well, it's narrow. I just want to be done, yeah, finito. This is really where the ghetto resides. It devalues other cultures, like mine. Ran on outdated practices and designs. To weed out qualified candidates, it declines. Grad student strike and protest for pay. Got smart folks who can go to industry today. And your program practices turn them away. I swear it's really time I feel the fake display. Acing classes but failing subjective exams. Being treated like I ain't the scholar I am. Faking diversity and equity for the gram. Triggers left and right and it's just like, well damn. Like, ooh, child, the ghetto. The lip service in here, falsetto. Expectations for change, it's narrow. I just want to be done, yeah, finito. Like, ooh, child, the ghetto. The lip service in here, falsetto. Expectations for change, well, it's narrow. I just want to be done, yeah, finito. One more time, like, ooh, child, the ghetto. The lip service in here is well, falsetto. Expectations for change, it's narrow. I just want to be done, yeah, finito. Don't let the system fool ya. It'll spit you out if you choose to. So if this song really moves ya, go ahead and do what you're supposed to. Don't give me no excuses, you know that is true. You know because a lot of this shit happens to you. So don't just let I did it be your way too. And advocate for something equitable and new. Different times, different lines, and different views. You have so much autonomy on what you choose. So choose to let go of all of the abuse and identify policies that you refuse. It's always ways to get around the goddamn rules. Use that privilege in all of your goddamn tools. Make the naysayers look like goddamn fools. And let's establish a new meaning for goddamn schools. Cause at this point, y'all, like, I just really had my come to Jesus moment, you know? And I just realized that I need to release and let go because I ain't gonna keep playing these toxic ass games with folks. Like, I just gotta really protect my peace. Get somebody else to do it. I'm tired of sitting around here feeling so damn stupid. And that goes for you and everybody else included. You can go and get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. I'm tired of sitting around here feeling so damn stupid. And that goes for you and everybody else included. You can go and get somebody else to do it. Setting boundaries to protect my peace. Herman Mo, so all of that damn extra shit can cease. And it's crazy cause people really wondering what's wrong with me. I'm just focused on healing my spirit to release. I'm gonna maximize my time and my energy, investing in myself in ways that you can never see, until we all on one page and be in the synergy. But until then you can reference me in memory. Not pulling no goddamn all-nighters. I'm not scheduling to meet with no new hires. If it ain't really paying or putting out fires, then I'm gonna do what my spirit requires. Get somebody else to do it. I'm tired of sitting around here feeling so damn stupid. And that goes for you and everybody else included. You can go and get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. I'm tired of sitting around here feeling so damn stupid. And that goes for you and everybody else included. You can go and get somebody else to do it. I'm focused on what's gonna keep me sane and what's gonna bring that new addition to my last name. It's crazy cause I really thought we had the same aim, but that's just how we recruited. It's a goddamn shame. I can struggle, but I shouldn't have to suffer. I know it's my experience is a little goddamn rougher. They say what doesn't kill you only makes you so much tougher, but y'all need some damn practices in place to be a buffer. Not pulling no goddamn all-nighters. I'm scheduling to meet with no new diversity hires. If it ain't really paying or putting out fires, then I'm gonna do what my spirit requires. Get somebody else to do it. I'm tired of sitting around here feeling so damn stupid. And that goes for you and everybody else included. You can go and get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. I'm tired of sitting around here feeling so damn stupid. And that goes for you and everybody else included. You can go and get somebody else to do it. Like, y'all, I'm done playing on myself like I'm the problem. I'm gonna really own myself as the goddess I am. And that's really that on it. I said what I said, period. House of mirrors and delusion, delirious. I ain't gotta prove myself superior. I lean on my epistemology imperial. I'm problematizing this engineering space, using methods that are set to my own damn pace. For the scholarship, yes, I leave you just a trace, but I'm rooting results in something I can embrace. I said what I said, period. House of mirrors and delusion, delirious. I ain't gotta prove myself superior. I lean on my epistemology, it's imperial. It ain't just what you know, and that's a fact. The stuff I'm saying is really not that abstract, and I'm really sorry if you feel so attacked. But if that's the case, then it's your time to act. I said what I said, period. House of mirrors and delusion, delirious. I ain't gotta prove myself superior. I lean on my epistemology, it's imperial. You ain't gonna wear me out no more. I'm done being your diversity hoe. Cause you do nothing games you implore. Institutions won't change at the core. I said what I said, period. House of mirrors and delusion, delirious. I ain't gotta prove myself superior. I lean on my epistemology, it's imperial. Respect my experience and respect my time. Quit covering my identity in your goddamn grind. The person who I am is so sublime, and the one I'm becoming is on a climb. I said what I said, period. House of mirrors and delusion, delirious. I ain't gotta prove myself superior. I lean on my epistemology, it's imperial. I'm really a queen in the grand scheme of things, acting like a puppet, letting you pull the goddamn strings. But this is the moment where I'm just gonna spread my wings and see what type of innovation that my goddamn hope brings. Yeah. Woo! You made it. You made it to the end. Give yourself a round of applause, baby. Make them hands clap. Thank you for engaging with the research data. As we prepare for the defense, remember to keep an open mind and a genuine heart. These things are not easy to hear, but they are even harder to experience. The ultimate goal is to promote positive change in engineering doctoral programs, so this does not happen. And whether you are in academia or not, you all have some power within your own respective spheres of influence to be equitable. So let's take this journey together. At the end of the defense, you can take the anonymous post-defense survey using the QR code at the end of the slides to discuss your experiences. Now, let's get ready to learn about what causes spirit murdering experiences and some things you can do to renew spirit in these spaces. All right, thank you everyone for coming. Welcome to my dissertation defense. This is Murder, Liberation, and Art in the Engineering Ivory. It is an epistemically aligned methodological study that illustrates the engineering PhD spirit murdering experiences of Black women. Now, mind you, okay, I know it's a lot of big words on there, but don't worry about that. We're going to get it together, okay? All right, I'm going to get y'all on board with what it is and what it means. The agenda today is we're going to go through the scholar, so who I am, why I did this, who I'm dedicating this for, and then how my positionality that kind of led me to design the research study the way that I did, as well as how I designed the research study, the scholarship that came from it, so my data findings and analysis and how I actually did it, and then what that means for implications for future research, as well as my next steps post-graduation. The scholar, that's me. This is me and my mom. I am my mother's daughter. My mother's name is Marvelous Clemens. She's online right now. And yeah, I'm my mother's daughter. So she's always described me as being a very independent person. Always the one that was asking questions. She used to think it was more rebellious, but it really wasn't. She said later on she realized I was really just being inquisitive and just always kind of question things, and I didn't really let stuff like authority or power dynamics kind of get in my way, which kind of really plays into a lot of the research and stuff that I feel like I do now. So that's me as a little kid, and then this is me now. 3 engineering degrees later. So this dissertation is actually dedicated to my nieces and nephews. So over here you have Nolan, he's my only nephew. You have Noya, Lauren in London, Melody, and then this is Dahani. She's a new addition to the family. It is also dedicated to my papa, who is not here anymore, but he is here in spirit, and he used to always ask me about my love life. He'd be like, even when I was a little kid, he'd be like, how's your love life? And I'm like, now that I have a PhD, I can have one. So let's get, let's get this going. So acknowledgements, it really takes a village. So I really have a lot of people on this slide right now. I'm not gonna name everybody, but really like my family over here, a lot of my friends and stuff over here. I really couldn't do this without y'all. That's my grandmother up there. Me and my sisters and my brother over here, my dad and my mom, my dad and my mom, And my cousins, this is the Space Lab. We have Kia. We have my Summer Bridge, Mississippi State family. We have Fatima over there. We have Lee right there. We have Damon. We have the whole Gangsters in Engineering Education family here at ASU. Especially my girls in the hood. Shout out to Rachel and Hallie. Thank y'all so much for helping me with this. And of course, my advisor, Dr. Brooke Coley. I didn't have a chance to put as many pictures up there as I wanted to, but I didn't want to get overwhelmed and start crying. So I decided that this was enough, and I'll add y'all later if you felt offended. So my positionality is that I felt that I had needed to be a critical researcher that would heal by serving my fellow Black women in similar spaces and calling attention to the bullshit that made our persistence damn near impossible. I had to be the Black feminist killjoy, which means that I center everything around Black women and what we need, because I feel like it is important, because I feel like if you're advocating for our needs, then you're also advocating for your own needs. And who served to empower others, even if that meant that I would never be seen in a positive light again. So this is something that is brand new. Like, I don't know if anybody else has done a dissertation defense like this, created raps and had art exhibits and stuff, but it's fairly new to engineering. And, you know, I'm stepping out on this because I feel like it was important for the people and the population that I was trying to serve. And so that's why I did it. And although I have my own experiences, I use myself as an instrument to center the perspectives of the Black women who are here that I am in service to, who are my intellectual contributors and my homegirls. So my fantasy as a scholar is that all scholars can study things of interest to them in ways that are of interest to them with the full uninhibited support of the academy. And what does that look like? Being able to use methodologies that you want, being able to use theories that you want, and being able to persist in engineering spaces without being physically and or mentally, emotionally harmed. And that leads us kind of into the design. And I'm going to play this by Cheryl Lee Raff. I love this part, and it kind of sets up the purpose for my study.
Species, but I sing no victim song. I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know where my voice belongs.
All right, so basically this was my sentiment for actually creating and coming up with my design, because I feel like an endangered species. A lot of my friends who are actually my homegirls in these spaces also feel like endangered species. And I said I want to do something FUBU, for us, by us. And so I started digging into the research, right? I started digging into the statistics as an engineer. Of course, we're looking at the numbers. So I looked up these statistics for the number of engineering doctorates awarded in the year 2021. Now, I did 2021 because that's the most recent year we have data for. How many engineering doctorates would you guess got their degrees in 2021? 22. Another number? 300, okay? Now this is all engineering doctorates, not just Black women, but all. 3,300. So 10,037. 10,037 engineering doctorates awarded in the year 2021. How many do you think were awarded to Black women? I guess 57. I guess 57. Y'all know, literally there are more people on this Zoom chat right now in this Zoom call than the number of black women that got engineering doctorates in the year of 2021. Now, we have over how many universities in the U.S. that offer engineering programs, multiple engineering programs? And here we are with 57 engineering doctorates awarded in the year of, for black women awarded in the year of 2021. That is literally 0.56%. Now, we also have over 4,000 articles, research that has been done that shows that black women in engineering experiences are something that people should be studying. Like there's some type of inequity here. There's something that needs to be focused on as a problem. Because when you do these dissertations, when you do research, you're identifying a problem and you're trying to solve it. So there are over 4,000 articles that are doing this. Over 350 specifically focused on black women and doctoral programs. Now, out of this, you have all of this research. Now, this is within the past 50 years. This is within the past year and a half. So out of all of this data, both quantitative and qualitative, it seems like nothing is really changing with anything that we're doing, because here we have all the data. It's not like we don't have the numbers to show it. It's not like we don't have the interviews and the focus groups and all of that to show it. So what is really kind of missing here? And I think that if quant and qual aren't moving people, then maybe we need to actually treat people like humans and engage with your emotional side. So I'm going to play with your feelings today. I'm going to get in your feelings. That's the goal. So using Black Feminist Thought, which is a lens and an epistemology or a way of knowing for black women, and arts-based research, I explore an epistemically aligned interpretive method used to illustrate the engineering PhD spirit murdering experiences of black women. One, to research in a critical yet liberatory way, meaning that I want to be able to study these things to basically get at the problem, but I don't want to re-traumatize the people who I'm using as contributors to my studies. I want to highlight inequitable practices that goes with the critical part, and then I want to humanize the engineers that I'm using and also the ones that we're in fellowship with to promote transformative change. So this work aims to cultivate emotional resonance toward action to address inequities related to underrepresentation, which is the issue. But it's not the issue. It's like the result of the issue. So the overarching research question is, what epistemically aligned interpretive methods illustrate the engineering PhD spirit murdering experiences of black women? This basically means like, what type of methods can we use that black women resonate with in order to talk about PhD spirit murdering experiences in a way that can resonate with other people as well? How can arts-based research and Black feminist thought be used as liberatory and critical research practices to explore critical incidents in engineering doctoral programs for black women? And then to what extent can BFT and ABR elicit new actionable findings in an engineering scholarship context? So basically, what all can we find out about this? Before we get started, there's a couple things I want to kind of point out, because I know I probably have some feminists on the call as well. Women is used only to decenter sexism and to center women and empower women. It is not to create a separate term for trans women or femme non-binary presenting persons because they're already included in the term women. This is specifically just because this study focused on women, and I wanted to make sure that we were centering and empowering women and not kind of playing into the men aspect in any way, honestly. It is what it is. Spirit murdering is used to describe the action and trauma associated with experiences that have harmed the personal, psychological, or emotional parts of self. So if you think about, for instance, if you were a little kid and somebody always called you fat, and then now all of a sudden every time you get ready to eat, you're like self-conscious about it, you're like, you know, making yourself, some people have disorders where they make themselves vomit because of things like this. So that's kind of like the spirit murdering piece. Spirit-renewal is used to describe actions, activities, and experiences that uplift or revive a person's spiritual being. Homegirl is basically what I use to call my participants, because I don't like that word. Like, they're not just participating, they're contributing to the research I wouldn't have if they didn't do the study. So shout out to my homegirls. Homegirl conversations are used to describe the semi-structured interviews. I didn't feel like calling them semi-structured interviews. Homegirl conversations are natural, they're fluid, and I wanted this work to really express what it was that they wanted to discuss or found important, and so that's what I did. Arts-based research is just a form of qualitative inquiry that uses any type of artistic process to understand and articulate human experience, as well as Black feminist thought is just a lens or a way of looking at and centering the experiences of Black women, understanding their social position in society, so them as Black and as women in the U.S. context, as well as their identities that they may have in addition to that, so like graduate student, researcher, things of that nature. So, to start with my conceptual framework, I wanted to study something critical. I'm a critical person. I've always been the type of person, my friends know I will pick out something that's wrong in an instant. I know it, it's like immediate. So I wanted to be critical, so I decided to use spirit murdering as the critical incident that's influencing underrepresentation. Then I was like, okay, well, I need something that's gonna be liberatory. I can't just sit up here and be asking people about their trauma all day long, because that's, I mean, how would you feel if somebody just kept poking at, you know, some stuff that you had that you were trying to process? So I was like, I need to be liberatory. So I use spirit-renewal and use arts-based research as a liberatory method, because it's easier sometimes for people to express themselves using poetry or using art or using something that's more fluid and natural to them. And so I use that as data collection. I use it for data analysis as well as for presenting the methods, presenting the data as well. So then I was like, what kind of epistemology or way of knowing or lens can I use to look at this? So Black feminist thought served as the alternative way of knowing an impetus for my research design, as well as the decisions that I made throughout the process. And then I was like, I want something that's gonna get people to act. You know, I don't like just talking. I need you to do something as well. So I was like, I had to have a call to action, and this served as the purpose for my research findings. And again, the main concepts of my study, I focus on Black women in engineering doctoral programs that have spirit murdering experiences, and I use arts-based research methods to collect their data, analyze their data, and also present their data. And all of this aligns with Patricia Hill Collins' Black Feminist Thought, which I will go into it for a moment. But it basically says, because of who Black women are in society, we have our own way of knowing things, our own standpoint epistemology. That's why Sis in the back, she's not an engineer, but she was like, that felt familiar to me listening to this, because she's a Black woman in society here. So she may have some of those experiences. It may not be like specific to engineering, but it's still, she has those experiences because she is a Black woman in that space. The matrix of domination looks at how society is actually built and structured, and the policies and practices that we have that actually cause repetitive harm to Black students. And I use engineering and doctoral programs specifically because doctoral programs is basically like, I feel like it's a program for weed out. Like, it's a program, like, as you get a bachelor's program, you have a large subset. You go to master's, it gets even smaller. PhD is like this amount of people right here. And then with engineering as well, it's primarily a white man's game. It's an old white man's game, and it is what it is. Critical incident, I use this as a critical incident of oppression because Black feminist thought talks about the dialectical relationship between oppression and activism. And so how there's like, once there's oppression, it usually moves people towards some type of activistic endeavor. And so here's the intellectual activism by creating space for them to use ABR. All right, this is Patricia Hill Collins. Ain't she good looking Black woman? Yeah. All right, so Black feminist thought has several things that I kind of really focused on this for. Again, the way of knowing for Black women, it centers Black women as agents of their own knowledge. Like, we know what we've been through. Like, you can't tell us what we've been through. We know what we've been through. And it centers that and focuses on that and not what other people want to say about their experiences. The matrix of domination, it looks at the system as the problem, not as the person. Ethics of care, it meant that there were certain things that I had to consider when I was actually doing the research because I did not want to be re-traumatizing. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, my girls were well taken care of. Self-definition, they named themselves. I asked them about their art. Did you want to name your art? They was like, oh, we trust in you. You got it. I was like, okay, cool. Like, but just allowing them to have that space to self-identify, self-define. And then intellectual contributions within and outside of the academy. I didn't want my research to just be in a journal where most of the people that I'm trying to reach or that I'm trying to be in solidarity with can't even get access. So I also want to disseminate it in other ways. Methodology, so arts-based research, I use art,
I'll go into it in a bit, but I used art narratives, and those were the data collection methods that were arts-based specifically. And then the 3 ways that I presented the data are composite narrative blog, composite poetry, and mini mixtape. So for data collection, we had an initial Homegirl conversation. I sat down, I was like, hey, do you identify as this? I'm looking for this particular type of woman, a black woman that's in an engineering doctoral program or has their PhD already from an engineering program and be in the US. And then so I said, okay, so now that we have that all squared away, have you ever had spirit murdering experiences? This is how I'm describing spirit murdering. Do you resonate with this? And then they were like, yep, I do, or no, I don't. And then once they said they do, and we agreed, we went to the art creation process, and I didn't limit it. I said basically create a 2D representation of what spirit murdering means to you. It could be the experience, it could be abstract, it could be whatever you wanted. And those are the pieces that they came up with in the back, and also on the Zoom slide that y'all saw. And then so for the art voice, they had to create an art narrative basically describing what their art means to them. And then we had another Homegirl conversation about their specific spirit murdering experiences, the actual art they created. Again, we kind of went back through it, which usually the second time we went back through it, they had more introspection from the first time, which is why I like art, because it's a living, breathing form, like you can always learn from it. And yeah, so that's what we did for data collection. The prompt, I already went through this, but for the Homegirl conversations, I kind of had like 1 or 2. Well, I had a list of questions, but honestly, I would ask 1 or 2, and I would just let them drive the conversation. So how did this impact your development as a scholar? How does it represent spirit murdering to you? And then how do you feel describing your art in the video in general? Like, how do you even feel talking about it? Because I had to do that ethics of care check. So here are my homegirls. They all attended historically white institutions for their PhD. We have Nostalgia, Hippolyta, Harper, and Khadijah, who all have their PhDs already. We also have Kagome and Ashley, who are currently in the process of getting their PhDs. Go girl, y'all gonna get it. And then you have, all of them have engineering degrees and or a science degree. They all have master's degrees, and they all have some type of professional experience outside of their PhD program before they even came into their PhD program. So this is kind of not to justify that they are agents of their own knowledge or that they are professional, but it's for the people who are going to question it. It's like they already know what they're doing. They're grown. These people are grown, which is why I put some respect on my name. I'm her. That's kind of how this actually came up, because of their data talking about them having professional experience already. So for the research design, to answer those 3 questions, I was like, oh, I want to do 3 different types of interpretive methods to describe their artwork. So I said paper 1, paper 2, paper 3. Paper 1 is Murder in the Matrix of the Ivory. That focuses on the matrix of domination, and I actually used a composite blog narrative. So I'll talk about that in a little bit, but it said, how does spirit murder manifest within the matrix of domination? And that is matrix of domination is a component of Black Feminist Thought, which we'll get into in a little bit. So that's the theoretical framework. The composite blog narrative, we'll talk about how I created that. And in terms of outlet, I'm actually thinking about creating either a book publication or either a blog publication. Not really sure yet. But for paper 2, I didn't succumb to the darkness. It's a multimodal methodological study. And it is, what are the reflections of spirit murdering experiences in their respective programs? And yeah, I use standpoint epistemology, which basically, like, they know what they're talking about. This is their experience. So I'm going to focus on what they are choosing to highlight. Composite poem, I'll describe how I did that in a minute. And this was submitted to the Advanced Journal. And here for paper 3, you have shifting from murder to renewed, because I could not have y'all sitting up here just all in y'all feelings about being spirit murdered and have, you know, and feeling like you the one with spirit murder, or having somebody spirit murder you. So I was like, you know what? Let's do some renewal stuff, because I got to take care of my homegirls. So how can ABRD interpret the sentiments of spirit murdering and spirit renewal for Black women in engineering doctoral programs? So I used, again, the ethics of care and then a form of intellectual activism by creating the mixtape. And this will probably be a media outlet. All right, so the scholarship, like, what did we find and how did we find it? So paper 1, Murder in the Matrix of the Ivory. I created a blog post basically using themes. I did thematic analysis. I went through first and used an inductive coding method, which basically means that I read all of the transcripts, and I just kind of wrote down basically descriptions of what they were talking about, like use the code for them. Then I actually went back through and I added Black Feminist Thought, which is a deductive coding method. I used the matrix of domination and the 4 domains of power that's within the matrix of domination to actually create the deductive part of the code book. And then I put those together and I basically grouped them within the matrix of domination. So we started with the composite blog. Basically, composite means because there are only 57 engineering doctorates awarded in the year 2021, I was not about to sit up here and single out every single homegirl and their experience. So I felt like this was a way of, again, engaging with that ethics of care. And I basically put them into one. And I named her Dr. Marvelous after my mom. Hey, mama. And she is an engineer at a Fortune 500 company. She is a blogger, and her blog audience is called The Marvelous Mob. And she has her PhD from Delusion University. So here you have the structural, disciplinary, hegemonic, and interpersonal domains of power. So for the structural domain of power, that basically means just like, what are the overarching systems that are at play that can cause spirit murdering, or that people play into to cause spirit murdering? And I'm doing high-level descriptions here. It is really in-depth in my dissertation, so y'all can read that 190 pages of work, okay? Because I put a lot of work into that, and I think you'd enjoy reading it, actually. If you enjoy this presentation, you might enjoy reading it. So next is the disciplinary domain. You actually have in a disciplinary domain, that's when they basically try to surveillance Black women. Surveillance, discipline, anything that tries to stand out of the norm. That is particularly where that stands. Hegemonic domain is like, oh, we all think this way, so if you don't think this way, that's your problem, not my problem. And then interpersonal domain is like your individual interactions every day. So what are you doing on a daily basis that may be causing spirit murdering? These were the actual themes that were found for all of this. Again, we're not going to go in depth with this, so I'm just going to give y'all one transcript and show you kind of how I did the composite blog with the quote in there. And then kind of summed it up, but all as like one written blog post. What is even more baffling to me, though, is how qualifying exams are structured to determine if you are mastering content and are qualified to continue forward in the program. So when I think of laws and policies, I would say in my department, the way the qualifying exams are structured, I know that when I was preparing for them, my advisor literally let me have 9 months to prepare for them, because from what I heard from other students, especially those of color, okay, so the previous Black women who were in the program, they left because of the qualifying exam, not passing them. Peers in our department were not very welcoming towards other minorities. So I think that is one policy that's disadvantageous for people of color, because I know a lot of people of color, if they didn't pass, you only got 2 chances to take them. If you didn't pass, then you either had to master out and then apply again to be in that PhD program, or they switched to a program that didn't have that type of structure in place. And I remember feeling like, if I'm qualified enough to be accepted into this program, engaged enough to ace all of my classes, and intelligent enough to contribute to my advisor's research, which they done got grant money for, mind you, why should I be subjected to a subjective exam that judges things that I continue to develop as a student, as a researcher, and potentially a faculty member? Why would I need to be expelled from the program or have to take the exam over to prove my worth? Like, haven't we gotten past that already? All right, so main takeaways from paper 1 to go kind of highlight the things, the research question from paper 2, like what can we find from these things? So spirit murder is targeted and it's dehumanizing. It's not like just some random thing that happens. It's usually something that is focused on a particular person, and it is an attack, and it is very dehumanizing. Spirit murdering occurs because of the aloof nature and capitalist ideas of the engineering academy. Because academia is about making money, a lot of times it gives slave mentality. And because a lot of people, especially in engineering, feel like everything is objective, it gives that aloof nature of like, oh, well, that's not my problem. That's somebody else's problem. And then spirit murdering actually causes further conflict negotiating identities as Black and woman and professional and researcher and student. So it causes like this kind of tension between these things, like which one do I really identify with? Like how can I actually meld them together? It doesn't feel like I can. Now paper 2 is I didn't succumb to the darkness. Remember, this is a multimodal study. So this composite poem, I did the thematic analysis throughout every single paper. But for this one to actually show the data, I took specific lines based on the coding. I kind of like lined up the themes, and based on their actual transcripts, I took specific lines of their excerpts and I actually created them into a poem. So I'm about to read this for you, and I'm just gonna read it. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that, and we can talk about it later if you want to. Just being a black woman, we all know what's there without even saying it. We all know that someone somewhere is trying to suck the life out of us, out of you. Doubt, anger, questions, angry, mad, sad, am I sure? The things I think, they burn in my mind, and it's just unfortunate. I'm a grown-ass woman, but this is still my formative years as far as career goes, and my positionality is not up for conversation for real. It is what it is. But if you want to have that conversation, that's a different invoice, and that's not necessarily what I'm being paid to do or what the research project is. But it's still just that pressure of, I'm about to do all of this hard work and the decision is still in somebody else's hand. My approach to engineering research, how it's taught to us anyway, is there's only one correct answer, only one correct way to do it. However, I want to make it my own, to make it authentic, representative of the population that I'm trying to serve. So the time process I've had dealing with spirit murdering to rebuild who I am, the way I perceive things, and how I want to be, like our heckles rise up, our blood pressure rises up, our body temperature rises. Figuratively, you have this thing happen to you and your spirit dies. Spirit murdering is targeted. It is targeted. It's accumulation though. They're going after you, your scholarship, your work, what you do, how you are in this world. And I can't unremember some of the things said and written. It lessens a bit over time, but 9 years out, I still experience it. So that fuels me having anxiety about what does this mean for my standing in the program. I couldn't grasp what I've actually done with my life these past 4 years. It called everything into question. Confusion, angry, super pissed, white woman's tears made me feel like I was in trouble. It's a blindsided eruption. It's just a real shock to your system. I still battle with that. But they all cut across into the womanism. They cut into the person, into her face. The womanism and the positive that wraps her up to push up against that. It's a constant battle and always be ready to fight in my mind. Not being enough, always question myself. Anxiety and depression were not really parts of my life until grad school. It ruined my gut. Definite connections for black women in fibroids and anxiety and stress. Times over the years where my hair was coming out, weight gain, exercise every day, I'm not losing any weight. Just talking about it still gives me a physical, visceral reaction. Figurative blood, sweat, and tears, but some of that was literal in a lot of ways. Yes, I would love to teach, but how much is that dream going to cost me? If that dream causes me to get sick and die by 40, is it worth it? So in order to let my spirit rejuvenate, I'm in autopilot, not really stirring the pot, not really making no noise, having this darkness and even the dark cloud, pieces of red and orange representing hell. Textures, directional, maroon, just a harshness, is not a flat experience. It demonstrates some additional depth. The environment is different, but the context is at least partly the same. A different person projecting this, but the impact being similar. The red is definitely the thing that people get caught up on, which is the trauma or the roots or what might make me different from whatever space I'm in. That purple angle where it might look like trauma is more royal. That's just the background of where I come from. It's been over 50 years. You should have been changed something right then or there. And if you're not going to change over the next 50 years, why are you lying to me? Do what you need to do so your committee will let you out. Even though I can survive this, like, do I necessarily have to go through that again in an academic career? I know that I can put the work in to get whatever I need to get done, but now I think it's like, is it necessary? Does it really require this? It's really hard for me to even be interested in entering academia again. I still want to, but I think I have a lot more standards about what that would need to look like. I'm seeing that I'm also proud that even with all these dark things or doubts, I didn't give up. I didn't succumb to the darkness. I don't know if that's resiliency or what, and maybe that's something that I'm learning too. All right, so the main takeaways from paper 2 based again on paper on research question 2, is they all have common epistemologies and relatable positionalities when it comes to their spirit murdering experiences in this space. They identify strongly with an outside or within status. So basically, yes, I am an engineer and I'm in an engineering doctoral program, but I don't feel like them. I don't feel like I'm treated like them. It's not the same. And then the impact of spirit murdering actually does manifest in physical ways. So when you have something mental happen, when you have something psychological happen, it actually can trigger a physical emotion or reaction. And that's what we saw in the poetry. So for paper 3, again, this is my baby, this is my ethics secure, my spirit renewal piece. I wanted to create a mini mixtape that can be used by Black women and other social groups as love letters and living forms of solidarity, so you know you're not alone. Provide an example of how critical topics can be explored in liberatory ways without remurdering the spirit of the participants, which I like to call homegirls or intellectual contributors. Move conversations into a space that explores using culturally sustaining pedagogy and practices in engineering scholarship. So that basically means let people dictate and determine how they want to do it. If you want to show them the blueprint for what scholarship looks like, do that. But don't dictate specific things on like how they should and what they should do in achieving those goals. And then so you had the thing that you saw in the art exhibit for the people online and the things that you saw here in the art exhibit in person. These are the different mixes. So you have put some respect on my name. I'm her. I ain't just a Black woman. The caucasity, bitch, please. Woo child, mind you, all of these are like very familiar Black women colloquialisms. So that's why I use that to honor that standpoint epistemology and way of knowing and the creative intellectual contribution. Woo child, a ghetto. Get somebody else to do it. I said what I said, period. And I was going to play this one, but we've already kind of went through some of them, and we're kind of short on time, so I don't want to. But you can also go back to and play these if you want to, as well as you can see it in my dissertation. There's a link as well. To sum it up, dissertation research question 1, just to remind y'all what it was, okay? I created, in order to show like epistemically aligned interpretive methods, I created a composite narrative blog, I created the composite poem, and I created the mini mixtape. Now for question number 2, to see what could we find from these types of things, I summed up these things that I already discussed after each paper, but I basically summed them up all in one slide so that you would know that this was to answer research question 2. And I'm also doing this to kind of like help support other people who may be in doctoral programs who may want to, just so you know, just some of the things I was thinking about. All right. So the significance. To address underrepresentation in engineering doctoral programs, there should be equitable treatment of Black women. Their intersecting marginalized identities, epistemological perspectives, and their respective experiences. If Black women and everything they bring with them into these academic environments is treated as being necessary, invaluable, and agentic, academia would grow expeditiously and be able to address current and developing challenges. Why? Because if we can address the issues of inequities for the most marginalized, most underrepresented group in engineering doctoral programs, then we can create movement towards liberation for all. Therefore, we have to humanize our engineers as well as the spaces, fields that they innovate in. So when you think about this moving forward, think about your actual relationships in life, your partner, your friendship, your friends, your kids, your sorors, your whoever you have, fraternity brothers, whoever you got. Like, you want to make sure that your relationship with them is good, like you're not taking advantage of them, they're not taking advantage of you. So treat your students the same way. Whew, so the future. All right, so I know people were asking me kind of about recommendations. Now, actually, in the songs, there are several recommendations that you could consider right now to actually engage with this work. But one is creating a spirit murdering art activity with your group. Now, you don't want to single anybody out and be like, okay, I'm going to have a Black woman in my group do this, or the person that's like the only person in this group do this. Have everybody do it. Make it an abstract moment if they don't feel comfortable, like giving a specific experience. Create like an actual, abstract thing of like, these are the things that make me feel like I'm spirit murdering. And you can use the emotion wheel. I didn't put it up here, but you can use the emotion wheel to talk about this, but you center it on their experiences. So these are the things that make me feel spirit murder. If somebody tells you, I feel spirit murder when you don't text me back, not you. I'm looking at you because I know you will resonate. No. I'm looking at you. But if you tell me I feel spirit murder when you don't text me back, I'm going to make sure, if I value that relationship, that I'm going to text you back, or at least let you know, hey, I'm not able to talk right now, but I will text you back and respond to your text later. Methodological experimentation, allow them to use different methods and theories. Like, there are so many, and engineering education is an open field. Like, we just kind of started. Like, it's not that in depth to where we can't really bring in some more things to actually make it what we want it to be, because it's a specific reason why it's not embedded in the traditional engineering discipline. So what can we do here? And then consider how you're actually treating your actual research contributors. All right, so next step for me, I will be the student speaker at my PhD hooding ceremony, thanks to the nomination from my advisor, Dr. Brooke Hurley. All right, and then so I'll give y'all a moment to read this. I know traditionally people do like, oh, I'm gonna do this after that, I'm gonna do this. I didn't wanna be traditional, y'all know I don't like that. So I just felt like I'd leave y'all with this so y'all understand at my core what it is that I wanna do and how I plan on doing it. So read the poem, and as you're reading the poem, I'm gonna play this song to let you know how it's gonna be.
It's bigger than I can imagine. Oh, something I've never seen. Yo, hey yo. Beach house vibes maneuver the jet ski. Cause I serve a God that parted the Red Sea. Multi-million-dollar commercials for Pepsi. From food stamps to more ice than Gretzky. I don't gotta talk, the Lord defends me. I watch them all fall for going against me. Cause me and all my angels shot the devil up. While you was trying to pull me down, I leveled up. I leveled up twice, I leveled up 3 times. He tapped them and told them she's mine. So even when I cried, I knew I'd be fine. Prepared for a miracle blessing in these times. Now praise them, raise them, name it, claim it. Every tongue that rises up against me, shame it. I breathe success in and out my lungs. Got the power of life and death coming out my tongue.
All right, so thank you so much. I'm done with this. Oh, goddamn. I still got questions. I still got questions, y'all. Don't hype me up too quick now, guys.
All right, we're going to open up the floor for questions, and I realized I didn't do a few things, so let you gather for just 1 second. I was remiss because I did not introduce the committee, so I should have done that first, and I apologize. So the other 2 members of the committee are Dr. Jennifer Becky, Associate Professor of Engineering here at ASU, and also Dr. James Howley Jr., Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering at University of Michigan. And he flew in just for today. And so a little bit of the overview of how we'll move forward. So we're going to open the floor for questions. We can have engagement, comments, reflections with Fantasi. Then we'll have everyone leave the room, including Fantasi, and the committee will form our own questions reflective of the defense presentation. We'll then bring Fantasi in and have a closed session where we talk and address those questions. We'll then ask Fantasi to leave again, and we will deliberate, and then we will come to a decision, and then we will reconvene everyone to make an announcement. Okay, so that's sort of an overview of what's going to happen. But now I'll open up the floor for questions.
Don't be shy. Yes, Joe. Ooh, girl, I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat that for people online. She basically asked me, based on my personal experiences, what made me explore this topic. Golly, I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this. All right, so basically this is Dr. Brooke Coley is my 3rd advisor. I had 2 advisors before her at a particular university, and I just didn't really feel supported there. And I felt like my spirit had been murdered a lot. And it just, sorry. Basically, it just came down to a situation where I kept putting myself in this traumatic cycle, where I kept, just kind of dealing with it because I was like, that's just what it is. That's just how it has to be. And I actually met my mentor, Dr. Holly Jr., and he just kind of gave me a lot of encouragement and kind of gave me he introduced me to my current advisor, Dr. Brooke Coley, and was like, I think you really need a mentor in this space. And I met with her, and it was like an instant connection, and I just felt like, she would take care of me, and I needed to be taken care of at the time. So that's what I did. And then I was like, okay, I'm in a space where I'm actually, getting supported, and I feel like, I can do some work that feels authentic to me, because writing in traditional academic language does not feel natural to me. It doesn't, and I don't feel like it feels natural to a lot of people. I feel like we just do it just because it's always been done that way. And so I wanted to be different. She allowed me to be different, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna help my other homegirls too. Like, we're gonna get this together. So that is why, without crying, that is why. Yes, Lee.
Hi. Great presentation for what I thought. Question. So in writing this presentation, hearing your personal experience, what healing aspects do you feel like you felt in writing?
So Lee asked, what were the healing aspects that actually helped me in writing this dissertation? I think the solidarity with the homegirls, because some of them knew my experience, some of them did not. As we were talking and they were actually sharing their experiences, I felt like it was deja vu, and I hate that it was happening to them, but I felt better knowing that it wasn't me. And I really felt like at first it was just me, because people were trying to make it seem like it was me. And being in solidarity with them, and even sending some of the music and stuff to people beforehand, they were like, oh, this sounds like your experience. I was like, it wasn't though. It was all from them. So, it just kind of shows that these things are happening, and if they're happening across the board, then we should be able to find ways to mitigate that. And so I think that being in this space and being able to create and talk with them and know that it wasn't just me was what I needed to really, kind of revamp and renew. And even though I'm still working through that trauma, I got, my advisor, and I got the people who really supported me in this room, and the people that supported me on Zoom, that were like, you got this, don't worry about it. My advisor to this day, she be like, you gotta practice what you preach, because I be calling her every day I'm so anxious, I can't do this, she was like, no, you gotta practice what you preach. You telling them that they need to be authentic and do this and do that, you gotta do it too. So, yeah. Yes, Ms. Jacqueline.
I saw something in one of your slides about igniting the profession. And so, first and foremost, let me say that all of you who know Fantasi, when she walks into a room, she has it already ignited. But, however, when you were going through this journey, do you start thinking about, okay, in the profession that I'm in, the place that I'm in, what can I do to fix some of these things that I see as you were going through this journey?
Yes, so the question was, what do I feel like I could have done as I was going through this journey to help in the particular spaces in the profession that I'm in? I think number one, just staying true to myself, because I feel like it's really easy to get lost in just being an engineer or just being this. But as many of you know, I have so many different sides to me. I model, I am a media personality, I have my own podcast, I engineer, I write, I do a lot of things. So I feel like being myself, number one, and finding managers that actually want to have the conversation, and advisors who want to have the conversation and actually talking to them, because if you can really just influence the people in your sphere of influence, then you will be fine. Not that everybody, not that the whole world is gonna be great for them, because it's not just about you, but that just really helps. It really helps to, if everybody was just doing their part, and just being able to listen, right? I think a lot of times people feel like oh, well, if I'm the spirit murderer, right, like I can't come to you and talk about that, but I personally think that you can. You know, I'm the type of person where I feel like if you have done something to me, I would rather you come talk to me about it. Let's talk it out. Let's get over it. And most of y'all in this room know that. So I think that that's pretty much what I feel on that one. Yes. Yes. Can everyone mute, please, until you're called on? Okay. Bestie DJ.
Was that when it was called?
Yes.
All right, so I'm sure. That was great. Beautiful work. When you had mentioned your homegirls and their experiences, I believe you said they were all at PWIs.
Yes.
Is this research, do you think this research can correlate to Black women in doctoral programs at HBCU?
Yes, I think that the findings may be different, but I definitely think that it could correlate.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Great work. I had one quick question. At the beginning, you talked about with your homegirls, you didn't want to re-traumatize them over and over. Did you have any type of counseling or therapy available to them throughout participating in your research?
That's a great question. Yes and no. So I did not have like traditional therapy. I did not have a counselor or anything like that. It was just more of a intentional decisions that were made during the conversations to be like, okay, if this is getting too heavy, do you want to move to the next topic? Do you not want to discuss this? You know, how would you feel? Like, how would you like to best be supported in this moment? Because I feel like asking the question is very important. So we did those things. Now, however, I do have an idea to plan a spirit renewal retreat. We just did not get the opportunity to do it in such a short time span, but I do plan to have a spirit renewal retreat, all free to my homegirls, all expenses paid to my homegirls, where they can come and we'll have things like that.
I have a question. It relates back to Darius's question around like the correlation to HBCUs. So in your research, did you find where spirit murder wasn't just limited to whiteness, but we could see where it would happen perpetuated by Black individuals as well, as it relates to white supremacy?
Yes. I will actually, yes, that is a great question. So let me first clarify that whiteness and being white is two different things. I have a lot of white people that do not act like that, and I enjoy them very much. But whiteness is when you actually use your power against somebody. I'm giving a basic generic description, but whiteness is when you actually use power and privilege that has been used for white people or dominant groups to basically demean somebody else, and to harm somebody else. And so there were experiences in here where their advisor was Black man and Black woman, like we had both. So yes, it definitely happened, because, and I want to specify that, like, it's not just white people that perpetuate this. We all work in this system. So there, in some kind of way, we may be harvesting harm towards somebody else. So it's not just white people. It's really basically based on your position of power. And so when you are in a position of power, just making sure you check that privilege when you're communicating with other people. Yep. Okay. Okay. Asia?
I don't have necessarily a question, but I just have a comment. I'm a newly minted doctor as of 21 days ago. And
okay, doctor!
Conceptual framework, so I'm excited to see it. But I just want to say thank you for continuing to stand in your truth to decolonize what 5 white men sat in a room and said this is research, and that Black women's voices are being heard and elevated in research, and your research will continue to change the world. So we thank you for what you've done in your dissertation. We thank you because writing about Black women's stories and bodies is very hard on your own mental health. So I thank you for putting yourself out there, because you choose to be an infinite person. You're choosing to teach people beyond you. So I congratulate you, not only Sword, but Sister Doc. Welcome to the fold. Thank you.
Thank you. Ooh, y'all trying to get it. Y'all trying to get it. Rochelle. Okay. Ooh, Raven. Okay, the Delta's in the house.
Well, I have a question, but I have a comment first.
Okay.
Of course, like everyone else, I'm very proud of you. I got to see you work in corporate America. And when you made that decision that you wanted something more for your life, and so I'm very proud of you and see the growth that's happened to you. One thing I always ask is, if there was anything that you could do different, would there be anything that you would have done different throughout this framework?
That's a good question. Raven, first of all, the hair is hairing, okay? I see it. Thank you. I needed that life right then. I would say, I think that if I could have, I would have actually done the data collection in person at an actual retreat. So I think that would have helped facilitate better conversations. It would have helped facilitate better like solidarity, and also, I could have had a lot of those spirit renewal techniques in person, right? Like, I think that would have been the thing I would have done differently. I would have definitely collected data in person, had a retreat, all paid for, and did it that way. Yes, Marcus.
When you presenting like the experiences of your homegirls, you highlighted some structural parts of the doctoral career or degree.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the exam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you identify any other like aspects of the doctoral journey that are like critical for those?
Yes, good question. So the question is, aside from qualifying exams, were there any other critical points within a PhD program? Honestly, the PhD milestones and interactions with advisors were the main two critical things that I found across the data. So qualifying exams for sure for every single homegirl was an issue. The comps, they didn't really speak on the comps too much. And there were a couple that actually spoke on the dissertation defense. So getting to the defense and, not passing, or like having an advisor say they support you in one moment and then, not in the next. So it was things like that were more so attributed to the advisor and or the subjectivity of the faculty when it comes to making decisions on pass-fail criteria. You're welcome. Yes, Bryson. It's funny, I didn't particularly ask. Okay, so the question was, how does the spirit murdering experience correlate to the workplace? Because we focused on doctoral programs. So because I was focused on doctoral programs, I didn't necessarily ask, but a couple of my homegirls who are in full-time positions actually said that being in a professional, like corporate space, they didn't speak on spirit murder. They actually spoke on like how they were never questioned just because they were a Black woman. Like, it was more of like, they were never asked like to describe something because they were a Black woman. It was like, if the person had an issue, they pretty much had an issue with everybody. Or they could like leave because they felt like a lot of times like they were pressured into doing like DEI work and race-related work and stuff if they did not want to do that in their PhD programs. But they were like, in industry, I could literally do this, do my 9 to 5, get off and be done. But in this particular space, like, they want to keep forcing projects on me that are going to re-traumatize me. And, I think that was the difference. But I do have ideas for studying the workplace as well. So not saying that they don't happen there. I'm just saying that is what they communicated during their homegirl conversations. Yes, Dr. Cooley.
So you did the APR. You applied these methods in a very novel and brilliant way. Can you speak to the difficulty in having venues to to identify or place your scholarship or scholarship of this magnitude?
Okay, so the question was, can I speak to the difficulties of finding a place to put this scholarship at? I ain't really found one yet, so I'm still looking. I found out about the advanced journal because one of the homegirls who actually, she didn't complete all of the data activities, so she wasn't included in this particular set, but she did the initial homegirl conversation. She actually, saw a special issue in advance about institutional betrayal, and they were specifically looking for like art and different methods like that. And so that's why I decided to submit that second paper to the advanced journal, because I felt like it was really aligned with what I was trying to do. I haven't really found journals and stuff that I felt like would really accept or even be able to really display the media and stuff that I presented. I also have plans to create my own journal, so I'm not really too concerned, but I think it just depends. Like if I were to get into a faculty position, I may be a little bit more concerned with that, and I think that kind of goes into that structural domain of power within the matrix of domination. But I think that for me right now, I'm just kind of like, it is what it is. Because I like media too, so I put my stuff on social media. Yes. Hey.
So my question comes from a place as an undergraduate advisor, and that's the role you're stepping into now. What can we do? I know, right? I'm so excited for you. But what can we do for our students when they're still pursuing their bachelor's in engineering so that they have the confidence, the skill set, and the tools that they need to go as far as you're going with this and feel like they have the support and the things that they need to continue on and don't end up pushed out, so that number, I think you said it was 57, yes, can be exponentially larger. What can we do at the undergraduate level to get them there?
Okay, what can we do at the undergraduate level to get Black women successfully through doctoral programs? I definitely think exposure to mentors early is important, and mentors that actually support you, not just like, oh, I like this research that they're doing, because they may not be the most supportive person. And I think that connecting them with good mentors is number one. Making sure that they understand the inequities that are in place, because I feel like a lot of times we don't talk about it. Like, it's different when you know about something, you could determine how you want to deal with it. But if you don't know about something and it's constantly taking you off guard, then that's when you really kind of like, I don't really know what to do here, and you may decide to leave. So, yes, we can talk about that a little bit more offline. Dr. Dennis?
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I just wanted to congratulate you on doing such an amazing job. I can't be more proud of you and so super excited for you. Your work is amazing. And I just wanted to ask, with individuals like myself who also did work on African American women and attaining leadership positions, I'm working with another one of our sorors on inequity in pay and pay gaps for Black women as well. We're in higher education. We know that you're in engineering, and I'm wondering, how do you see us all coming together with our research to make a difference, to really get out there and show what is happening to us as Black women and African American women, and come together in our different career paths and just blow it up and let people see that it's happening across the board?
Great question. I have a very simple answer. Connect with me, Dr. Coley, Dr. Rochelle, and Dr. Katrina Thomas. Yep.
Hey, Fan. I think I can echo everyone's sentiments. You're an amazing woman, and this is amazing work. And I really want, I guess, to get your opinion. If you were to talk to someone, right now, of like, this is what I want you to take away from my work. Someone who may not understand even who Homegirls are or any of the things that we deal with on a daily basis. How do you want your work to be taken? What do you want people to pull from it? And how do you want them to apply it to whatever situation they're in now, whether as an advisor or working in any area of academia?
Good question. I would say the thing that I really want people to take away from my work is that you should be authentic to yourself, and you should allow other people to be authentic to who they are as well. And that's actually how you create innovation in engineering. If you're really trying to innovate, if you're really trying to do something different, everybody can't have the same lens trying to solve the same problem. Like, it's never going to get solved, because if it was, it would have been solved the first time when the first person did it. So that's my response to that one.
Hey, girl, hey. Proud of you. Congratulations. But my question is, how would you propose that institutions keep their programs rigorous and provide a standard while still honoring the Black experience for people in these graduate programs?
Good question, but I think rigor is subjective. I think that support, for instance, let's take the qualifying exam. I think that support is not that people want you to tell them what to do for a qualifying exam or how to answer a qualifying exam. It's more about, let me know what you're looking for. Like, if you want me to write a literature review and you think, show me examples, like what are some of the qualifying exams that have happened before? If I do fail my exam, or even if I pass, let me get my feedback back so I know, like, these are the type of things that will help me develop as scholars. Because like I said in the one where I was showing the excerpt, these things are like writing lit reviews, doing research, creating research designs. All of these things are things that you continue to further develop as a faculty member as well. So it shouldn't be something that stops you in the interim. And I don't think that rigor, I think that rigor is subjective. I'll just say that. I think that rigor is subjective. I think that the true measure of a successful program is your students and what they're actually producing and how that's actually changing the field of engineering. And if it's not doing that, then it's not rigorous at all. If you're just weeding people out, it's not a rigorous program. With that being said, okay. Okay, China.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
This is Kiana.
Oh, sorry.
Congratulations on everything. And my question is, what is something you found during your research that was very shocking and it pushed you to want to really put out your research anymore and help keep you going?
I think when I realized that, like when I was thinking about spirit murder, I was really just thinking about it from like a mental and an intellectual and emotional state. But when I had the conversation and people started telling me how it was actually showing up in their body, I think that really made me want to, put my work out there. Because we can't have that. We can't have people having like trauma in their body, like, and actually having physical manifestations of spirit murdering just because of an education. Like, education should be liberating. It should be free, and it shouldn't be something that traumatizes you. Okay. Okay.
Did y'all call on me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Meg. I'm sorry, girl. I forgot.
No, you're fine. The voices in the background are real little, so I was like, I didn't know if they said my name or not. But firstly, Fantasi, congratulations. You did an amazing job on your presentation. I'm so happy for you. Again, you don't know me. I just follow you on Instagram, girl. But again, so happy for you. My question is there any particular homegirl whose traumas or experiences during their PhD journey stood out to you the most, or you felt like you could resonate with the most during your PhD journey?
Ooh, I feel like they all relate to me in so many different ways. Like, because when I think of one, like if I think of Hippolytus, I think about my positionality and like how I'm like this tension that I have with these identities that I have. And when I look at Harper's, I think about all the actual experiences that I had and how I felt after those experiences. When I look at Kagome's, I actually see the spirit murdering experiences happening to me over and over again. When I look at Khadijah's, I think about like me actually trying to say intellectual things, trying to contribute, and people like looking at it like it's not knowledge. When I look at Ashley's, I think about all the stuff that goes on in my head because I have bad anxiety and like you know, like Meg said, I'm a baby and I got bad anxiety. Like, people call me rude because I ain't letting them try me. Like, I felt like, you know, that definitely gave me that type of vibe. And then for nostalgias, it really just reminded me of, you know, the ivory tower, which represented engineering in general, and how people try to escape to actually salvage themselves. But we really just need to, you know, tear down the old so that we can rebuild, you know, correctly for the next time. So I can't choose, but those are the reasons why I like all of them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Come on, Dad.
My name is Jackie Harper, and what I want to know is, when is your bestseller coming out? Spiritual word, because I think it would help, not only help women, but it would help also men.
Right, look, I'm like. Okay.
All right. So when is it coming, man?
At some point, look, at some point.
Take a few months off. Let's give Fantasy a round of It's my honor to announce Dr. Fantasi Nicole.
Yes.
Wow.
You did it!
Oh, y'all really got me ugly crying out here. Y'all did not put this on social media. Katrina, I'm looking at you. Oh, y'all know I like this. It's official, girl. Knock out. I just want to really say thank you to my mama and my family, and thank you to my committee members. Y'all have been amazing throughout this process. Thank you to my family at ASU, and thank you to my family in Phoenix, my sorors, and my friends. Y'all have really made this process. It was really hard, and I'm so glad to be done. Oh my God. I'm glad to be done. Well, you can refer to me as Dr. Fantasi, Dr.
That's
Fan,
right.
Dr. Nicole.
That's right.
Either one works, you know, but yeah. And so, for those of you all who don't know, Fantasi is the second graduate of the Space Lab. And so we have a tradition that started with Dr. Katrina Thomas, who's online. Hey, Katrina, or hey, Dr. Thomas, my bad. Let me get it straight. And so I present to them, Katrina was alpha, and so Fantasi Nicole is beta, the second. In honor of the legacy of Greek, Fantasi and I are both members of Divine Nine organizations, many of her sisters and sorors who are here. And so this levitating, I don't want to move it. This is yours, and it will be something you can put in your office or your creative space or your studio or your podcast office, I don't know, wherever you want to put it. But, you know, a part of space will always be with you. And so the work that you presented, you should feel amazing, because not only is it scholarship, it's empowering, it's different, it's fresh, it's groundbreaking, it's all the things that you are. And so, congratulations. So with that, y'all can come have a toast, and then, you know.
Happy birthday! Happy
Thank y'all so much for coming. Oh, they say y'all need to say happy birthday.